Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna. For those of you who are new here, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. A great big shout out to my channel members for supporting my channel. Thank you. If you are interested in subscribing or joining my membership, details are in the description box below. Okay, so I actually have had this for a few weeks now, but have not been in the headspace to film, so we're going to do that today. This is my 2026 Sterling ink order. I'll go ahead and go through the two different planners that I've picked up. These are actually gifts, but I'll look through them with you just so you know what is in that. I think this is a little freebie, and then this is my November subscription kit from Sterling Ink. I do plan to do at least a few months worth of subscription kits with them because I do like their aesthetic and their art style, and let's get to it. We'll start with this first. This is a little monthly passport for 2026. It is their Tomoe based paper. It has got 2026 on there, some notes pages, goal pages, a yearly tracker, some priorities for the quarters, and then it goes right into the monthlies. It starts in December 2025 and it ends with January 2027, and then there is 17 notes pages because it is numbered. So I bought two, one for each of my parents, and it's really small. I think it's even smaller than an A6. Let me check. I apologize for the glare, but this is an A6 original Avec Hobonichi, and yes, it is significantly smaller. All right, so I'll put this away. Let's actually get into the subscription kit. We'll do this first. So I think this is the thank you. So there's like a little sampler card and then a little Sterling Ink QR code card. It's very, very thick. It's very pretty. So I think this make great ephemera, as would this. Actually, as would this. You could put this as a journaling spot to tuck in things like this. Now for the subscription kits, you do have to sign up for it like a month in advance. So I had actually ordered my subscription kit, or started the subscription kit when I made my order, which was September 5th. Yeah, September 5th. And I had missed the October cutoff, and so they shipped for November. So I'm on the schedule now, but if you are interested, I'll link their shop below. Not sponsored, not affiliated. There are 3 different subscription kits. There is the full one, then there's one that I think is deluxe, and then there's one a little bit less, like a basic set. This one, I believe, is $35 shipped, and then you can check out their website for the cost of the other 2. So let me take all of these things out because of the plastic, and I'll be right back. All right, so this is a vellum November calendar. If I take this, which is an A5 size, and I'm using this one just because it's right next to me. It is not exactly the size of an A5 page, but if you are doing in the notes section, like an intro, then it gives you a nice framing around it. So you could actually put other things if you wanted to. So that was in that large envelope. This is Oh, it took me a minute to read what this says, but this is the days of the week, and it is individually kiss cut. While it doesn't feel like washi, it's not a very thick vellum, which is good because then it won't bulk it up. And then you've got all of the actual days of the week. Maybe you put that in the daily section. And then you have two vellums. You have this one, and then you have this one. And if I'm not mistaken, it's this with some underlay of some other design elements. So you've got a basic one, and then you've got a more elaborate one. So that's all that, and that was in that larger envelope. And then in the smaller envelope or clear thing was some individual sticker sheets. Oh, and there's two of those. And actually it goes that way if you're looking at that as a proper fence, and then that goes vertically. And then these are weekly or weekday stickers for the weekly overview, date numbers for the weekly overview spread, date numbers for the monthly overview spread, weekday header for the monthly overview spread, and then the month. It's a lot of numbers and stickers, and I don't know how effective this one will be in particular, but everything else I think is absolutely gorgeous. And I'm already set up for November, so I don't know if I'll use this for December or if I'll just save this for next year. I don't know that I'm going to keep this subscription kit for a very long time because it comes with so much, and I'll be able to accumulate and then mix and match. While the colors and the design elements will change over the months, the aesthetic is pretty much the same, and so the mix and match I don't think will be a problem. And then here's, I guess, more freebies. So another collage type of sticker, some tabs, and then the month. And again, I've already used mine. This is a small calendar sticker, and this is another one of those ephemera type of things. So overall, very beautiful kit. And so I'm just going to put all of this to the side. All right, and the two planners that I purchased from Sterling Ink are the A5 Core Planner. I think that's what it says. Yeah, this is the A5 Core Planner. I don't know if there were a lot of options available by way of color, but I don't mind the black. This came with it. I think this is a pencil board that has the overview of the year from the monthly perspective. And I got no gold. I think that was also an option. And then this is the A5, I want to say slim, compact. So it's as tall as an A5, but not as wide as an A5, but certainly wider than a Hobonichi Weeks. Now, I don't know that either of these will actually be contenders for my 2026 journal, which I use for my everyday carry, but I was quite intrigued by Sterling Ink. And my friend Poet is using them again for this year. I can't wait to see what she's purchased. And so it's got the full calendar. The font is very clean, very crisp, very minimal, and it looks like, oh, the numbers in gray are the weeks of the year, because it actually is not part of the calendar. Notes pages. It goes into goal breakdowns. This is not something I'm going to use. Yearly tractor, not something I'm going to use. And I think I said tractor and not tracker, whatever. And then it goes into the goals from a quarterly perspective. I did not purchase this for any of this. Although if I use this to kind of put goals either for my office or for my team, that makes sense to me. But having professional personal goals or personal goals, because in my mind those are two different things, I don't do that. And then it goes into the monthlies. It is a Monday start. It does have the week of the year on the side and very small, and there is graph on the entirety of it. And that's not always a thing in some of the other products. So you get all of your monthlies, and it goes through January. So it follows a Hobonichi layout where all of the monthlies are together. Let's see if the weeklies do the same. So you get the first week of January. That includes a few days of December. And then it goes just straight into all of the weekly sections. So yeah, just like a Hobonichi weeks. There's no writing on here. It is very minimal, very functional looking. Now, the reason why this is a core planner, and I was so intrigued by it, was because you go through all of your weeklies. So you have your monthlies, your weeklies, and then you go into some notes pages. But this has only 23 notes pages. Now, the reason why this is still so slim is because it doesn't have that many notes pages, but this is a different paper. This is their Cosmo or Cosimo paper, and we're actually going to do some testing at the end. Actually, no, let's do testing now while we're here, because I was really intrigued by this paper, and you could only get this paper either, I think, in this planner or in their binder, their ring type planner, and I'm not interested in that at all. So this is a Jinhao 10, and that's a fountain pen. I want to see if it bleeds. This is a Jinhao 10. This is a Pilot Kakuno. Kakuno. It feels nice on the page. I'm doing all the fountain pens first. This is another Jinhao 10. These two are extra fine. This one is fine. It is not my favorite because it pulls a bit thick for me. This is my Pilot Capless. This isn't a fine Pilot, but this feels less thick than this one does. Okay. So this is a Uniball one. Yeah. Oh. Uniball one. This is a Pentel Klena. In a 0.4. Sarasa Grand. And a 0.5. This is a Sharpie S-Gel. And these are all of the pens that I would use in my daily or monthly or weekly section. And this is a newer acquisition. This is a 4 Candies 4-color pen, and I think this is a 0.5. It comes in a set of 6. I did purchase it from Amazon. Even the pen clip is a color. So there's 6 pens in the set, and there's 4 inks per set. And I think this is a 0.5. So 4 candies, 4 color pen, and a Tombow. Well, that moves better than I thought it would. 772, which is my favorite color of Tombow. And here is a mild liner. It's in Japanese, so I don't know what the color is. And then Ohuhu water-based. Ohuhu water-based. Number 52. It does have an actual fine tip, but I never remember that. It's not something I typically use. Okay, and then let's use this one, because this one actually bled in the Novonichi that I picked up this year. And this is a Pentel Touch, I believe. Pentel. I didn't do a smear test, and I don't know if that's something I should do. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Oh, the Novonichi paper didn't do that. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. That one dried pretty good. So that was the Sarasa Grand. And if you're wondering, for the different pens that I have, I keep refilling the same ink color so that when I want to use a specific ink, I'm going to choose that pen. I don't know if that makes sense. So this is the Pilot capless. Sharpie. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. A little bit of smearing there. I'm not going to do all of them because it looks like you do need to let this set. And this is the Kakuno. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Oh yeah. Okay. So it doesn't have a fast dry time, which is fine. As long as you are aware of that, then you can deal with that accordingly. And there is ghosting. There is just a smidge of bleed through in here, and that's in that one. And again, because I've been using Hobonichi products for quite some time, the ghosting is not a problem for me. But I was quite intrigued by the paper. It does look like it's a lay flat binding. And it looks like it is on signatures because there's threads here. So that is the A5. Because it only has 20 something pages, again, I don't know that this is going to be a good contender, because in the back section of my current system, which is my Hobonichi Cousin Avec A5, I use the daily pages for memory keeper and then the extra nonsense kind of pages at the back for my budget tracker. So this doesn't really have enough space for me to be able to track that unless I fundamentally changed how I do memory keeping and my budget. But that is the A5 Core Planner from Sterling Ink. And then this is the Compact Full Year Planner, and this is what is intriguing to me. While it is a little thicker than a Hobonichi Avec, which is a 6-month system, it is a full year system. So if I did want something that is just all in one, then I could use this. Now it's actually exactly the same as what I just showed you. Well, no, actually, no, it's not. I forgot there's quite a bit of a distinction, but it has 119 pages. This is like Tomoe paper, but their version of the Tomoe paper. It is a soft bound, kind of like a leatherette type of thing, versus the Hobonichi, which is kind of a stiffed card stock. So opening it up, the monthly overview for 2026. 2 notes pages. You've got your goal breakdown. You've got your monthly or your yearly tracker, your quarterly priorities. Again, none of these sections are anything that I would use unless it was specifically for work-related things, because then that makes sense in my mind. You've got your monthly calendars. Yes, and it's the same thing as an Hobonichi system where all of your monthlies are the same. And then where this veers off, so it has monthlies from December 2025 through January 2027, this is basically an extended Hobonichi weeks. So if you're someone who struggled with the Hobonichi weeks, let me get one. So this is a Hobonichi weeks, and it's got a cover on it, so I apologize for the glare. So it looks like a good inch thicker than a Hobonichi weeks, and maybe like half an inch taller than a Hobonichi weeks. And so if you've struggled with that in the weekly section, that might actually be a really good compromise, because you get more space, but you also get a layout if you are a horizontal type of person. Now, for me, I could still use this because I would just do lists. So for this, I would probably do my word of the day. So let me get this one. So this is my current system. This is my Hobonichi A5 Avec, and I have my completed tasks for my workday, the location where I'm at for the workday, because I do have to track that. I put down where I have what I have for lunch during the work week, and then I put a word of the day and a tarot card of the day. And so I can see dividing this up into boxes and putting the tarot card of the day, putting the word of the day, putting lunch, putting my location, and I still have all of the information. And because I only work Monday through Friday, then I could use this spot down here for either reflections and or my habit tracker, because the one that is embedded in a monthly habit tracker, I learned doesn't work for me because I tried it in this. And then this I could actually section out into vertical boxes and then do my completed tasks. So I could still use this from a very functional standpoint, but there's just a lot more room that you're dealing with versus something like this. And so if you do like a horizontal, but this has been too small, or if your handwriting is a bit big, this might actually be a really good contender. It doesn't have a ton of note pages. It actually has more than a Hobonichi Weeks regular, because that has 70 pages, but less than a mega, which I always thought was a problem with Hobonichi, because I always thought 70 wasn't enough. But the 200 plus pages was a little bit too much. So having the 120 pages, I could actually still do a budget here on a monthly basis. So that would devote 12 pages, because I do a budget every month. And then the rest I can use as a memory keeper, not necessarily, and obviously not a page a day, but I could take what I'm doing in my daily section and I could comprise it down, because at the top is always the highlights of the day, which makes my day a little bit different from the day before. And then I use some of my items to kind of just make it stand out and do a little bit of journaling about the things at the top. So if I compress that to just having a working list with maybe a little bit of deco, and then just going down the line, then this I think could be actually a really good contender. I think where I'd probably run into the problems until I was used to it is getting used to the system like this, and it is just a bit smaller. Not to say that it couldn't be useful, because for 2.5 years, I used a Hobonichi Weeks as my all-in-one for my budgeting, my memory keeping, my journaling, my work-related stuff, everything. So I know I can use a smaller system. This would just be kind of a shift in my mind of, okay, how would that actually look like and work for me? And so this might be a tester system for this year, and then see about using something like this for next year. Now, I don't remember, I'll have to look, but I don't know if this A5 Slim is available in a vertical. And I want to say it must be, because this is marked with an H. So A5 Slim H, which is horizontal. I don't know the functionality of that because I don't have it, obviously. I do know that when I was purchasing, I did want things that were different from this. So this has similar paper because this is Tomoe paper, but this is in a vertical layout. This one is in the vertical layout that I like, but this has a lot less paper. And so I thought, okay, if you're gonna try out some things, get some differing things so that it just makes the most sense. And we'll do some pen testing just to finish out the video. I won't do them all because, again, I don't know that I'm going to be using this as my everyday carry. So this is my Pilot capless. Sarasa Grant. And if you're wondering on the inks in the fountain pens, with the exception of the Kakuno, which is from a bottle ink, all of these are Pilot cartridges of ink. So this is the Jin Hao 10. If you're interested in my thoughts on the capless pen versus the Kakuno pen versus the Jin Hao 10 pens, let me know and I can put that together, because I certainly have thoughts. I don't see any feathering. Again, it has the ghosting, but I don't, there might be a few dots here and there on bleed through. And it certainly needs some dry time, but so does Hobonichi paper. And I mention specifically Hobonichi paper versus this because I believe that Hobonichi does have a proprietary Tomoe paper batch than Sterling Ink does. So not all Tomoe paper is the same. Honestly, if I decided to use this with any regularity, then I would just test it out and then I would use pens accordingly. I'd probably stick to like a Klenna or some kind of gel or ballpoint pen, just because I know that they're usually not as juicy and they work pretty well. Yeah, so ghosting, but no bleed through. And having, again, worked in Hobonichi products for, I think we're coming up on 4 years now, 5 years. I know it's a thing. Worst case scenario, I get a piece of paper and I do a blotter sheet. All right, guys, well, that is my Sterling Ink haul. I certainly have some ideas on how to use these things, and I'm very happy that I have them. And I'm just going to play around and test and figure out, again, for 2027, I'm a creature of habit, so I'm probably going to just stick to Hobonichi, but it also gives me ideas. Okay, are these actually a good a substitute or a good alternative for me. I would definitely check out Sterling Ink. Again, I'm not sponsored or affiliated for the pricing. And I think if you purchased a certain amount, the shipping was free. So it is a slightly cheaper alternative, I think, to Hobonichi, as well as it has some functionalities and some things that are not in the Hobonichi that I think people really wanted. It's very minimal. The font is very crisp. It's very clean. If you wanted to cover the things up because you wanted to have your own look on it, that's good. It has got a 6 to 12 grid. I never actually use that. If I were to use this functionally, I'd probably put the line. But again, whether it's there or not, it doesn't matter to me. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you wanted to make this a 24-hour, you could put 5 a.m. at the top, and then it would end at 4 a.m. with, I think, 1 row down here. But otherwise, yeah, that is my purchase and my pen testing and some of my thoughts. All right, guys, well, that's it for me for now. And as always, aloha.